So the class today will cover the Italian Renaissance, a time of new improvements, new art, new ideas, and we will start today with an activity that I wanted the class to do, but for the purpose of this video, I will use this activity as a way of teaching students how to analyze paintings in the context of how an art historian would. Now, as a non-example of Renaissance paintings, we look at the medieval paintings on the left. We see them as more static figures, more two-dimensional, cartoonish, just an overall bland painting, not a lot of, bright color and design. The Renaissance paintings on the right, we see a lot of dimension, color, individuality, movement in the figures. The biggest thing that we see is emotion. We see people having discussions, seeming, a little disconcerted, a little bit of an uproar going on here surrounding, the news Jesus gave them that, he's going to be betrayed, as according to the narrative. We notice the dimensions because if you see the movement of the four panels on each side, it seems to be converging on Jesus, making it more three-dimensional, and you can tell which figures are closer to you, which would make it more three-dimensional according to the linear perspective look. And in the bottom painting, we see more of that architecture giving more depth, uh, looking at the columns here, and we see emotion as well, as Mary seems to have that dissonance between the burden and the privilege of being delivered the news by the archangel that she is going to conceive the Son of God. And how did these ideas, why did this change happen because of the Renaissance? Well, scientific improvements, scientific understanding. But I will discuss mainly in this video what motivated that, and that was religion. Many figures in the Renaissance were religious men. They believed their work was divinely inspired by God, and they wanted to use it to glorify God. It's also worth noting that even if they weren't religious, they artists during this time would often be hired by monasteries and churches to do paintings, murals, frescoes, and things like that. So it would be a religious subject matter that they would paint. And we would see that here in the Wedding Feast at Cana painting, where we see, Jesus in this Venetian setting. You know, does not look like something that would happen in a church in Cana, but Jesus and Mary are depicted with Venetian people to, make them closer to the people of Venice. We also see Jesus being baptized by John the Baptist, and we also see Raphael's Madonna figure. And this is very important because it should be noted that the Reformation did not happen yet. So if you were a Christian in Europe, you were a Roman Catholic. So the Madonna is very important. She was viewed as a mediator between God and man. And this is what made religion a very important factor. Now, what I also wanted to discuss was specifically the improvements in the understanding of human anatomy. And it was primarily Leonardo da Vinci that did this, but inspired, the other titans of the Italian Renaissance like Michelangelo and Raphael. They held anatomy in really high regard as well. So we see in the statue of David very strong detail in the muscular aesthetic and things like that. And it's important to note Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, this figure that was based off of the Roman architect Vitruvius, who influenced Leonardo da Vinci by inspiring him to use his architectural designs in understanding symmetry in the human form, and that in turn helped him to understand his art.